Greetings in the best of salutation. That would be prayer, power, peace, patience, and prosperity. The totality of one's well-being. The pursuit. I have written a manuscript and resulted in a book form, and the title was Overcoming Being Mentally Encaged, Enraged, and Enslaved. The quest of finding resolve and coming into complete civility. And when one comes into complete civility, he or she should be at peace. When we're at peace, we are no threat to each other. I believe it was someone says in another part of the country or world, if I may use that language, says occupation is not good for either of the two. I don't know who said this, maybe it was Einstein, I'm not sure. That which occupies the mind conditions the mind. That's just the nature of the mind. So we're talking about that which occupies, that which you give attention to. Is something that will program you or condition you. And we're dealing with the nature of how people process their feelings, their emotions, their thoughts and attitudes, communication, language. Then we have behavior. Then we're talking about a position or a model that people look to follow, or as an example that they could either identify with or follow. A feeling, that which is being processed. The brain possibly is a filter, and if the filter is dirty, the filter needs to be changed. But this can't change I have to back up. I don't want to say something that is not that I'm not equipped to share or to even substantiate, but I'm just using just the filter analogy, because it seems as though one is unable to determine sickness from health. Possibly a mind that is something that is become very deviant. There are those who look for a model or a leadership in religious leadership. Some look toward politics. Some look to people who have the money to find it, who have the money as their leader. What about character? Because I said earlier in the book I wrote, overcoming being mentally enslaved, engaged, and enraged. A personal quest of finding resolve and coming to complete civility. The issue is character resolve. Someone left that the material that has been given to us to build on our humanity is character. Social health crisis. Crisis, something that could weaken you or strengthen you. Let's look at this pursuit of finding resolve. Let's find what we call looking if we can identify what a model. And remember, I said it's about character resolve. John Jackson wrote in his book, Man, God, and Civilization, What is a Civilized Society? It consists of scholars and scientists. And he concluded with an association, Will Darrant, that a civilized society is a literate society. So there is a religious teaching that the pen is more powerful than the martyr. Or the power of the ink. Someone says the documentation beats explanation all day long. How we're able to interpret and comprehend what we're reading. If some is reading at a certain level, they are unable to comprehend and interpret what they're reading. The first sign of reading is observation. So we see. And that could be very traumatic of what people are seeing. What they are seeing, what they're experiencing. I may use this language could leave a bad taste in their mouth, or can make them feel some kind of way. Then to see such a thing over and over and over again. I often said social stress leads to mental pain, and mental pain leads to physical harm. So I say it's a social health crisis. But this model or pursuit, the issue is character resolve. The issue is you, me, us. We're unable to identify with ourselves as being human, and many identify with themselves by looking at models outside of themselves, other than themselves. I like to associate that with aesthetics. People want external therapy without internal clarity. If we look inside of ourselves, biologically we see what we're made up of, which we come from one single cell. And then that cell evolves. And you have parts of the body in which brings everything together and to become one, or to work together, I should say. to work together as one. This universe is a single family home. The sky is the ceiling. The earth is where we reside. And the earth is it keeps us grounded, humble. Yes. But this model, we look at principles. We look at trends. Then we look at principles. Then we look at institutions. And we look at culture. We look at customs. And then we look at leadership. I recently put together a manuscript in a book, and possibly maybe a discussion on it about if people say we are a product of our environment. That is a variable, but we can make decisions even if our options may be considered to be limited. If some would see it as such. But I said, without any excuses, we're a product of the decisions that we make. So if someone is living with being it's under constant surveillance, occupied territory, occupied land. If someone is living under the threat of violence, living in a system of injustice or racism, overtly, covertly, or institutional, or what have you. And people naturally resist that. Well, what is the model in which they will follow? How will they react? Humans, how will we react? Looking for the model. And when they look at the model and they cannot find one, and therefore they create one, they become the model themselves. But yet, somehow or another, one could create and become a Frankenstein. Yes. But let's deal with the the trends. That which is popular. That which is popular, associated with a population or a certain population, which people maybe are able to categorize and place in a position where they become ostracized. So, what is the posture, the position that one will take? How she will position himself and how he or she will find his place of belonging. Will they carve out their existence by being violent? Will they carve out their existence by being bitter? Or will they carve out their existence of being better to bring forth the betterment of development of one's intellect for the betterment of one's humanity? How will they carve out their existence to be seen, to be heard, and their demands to be met? Should it be by force? Should it one protest? So one has the position to make their voice be heard by what they call a voting. One voice will be heard by means of expressing him or herself through the arts, the science, the literature, entertainment. Because everybody have need of self-expression, the clothes that we wear, the cars that we drive, the places we live, the people whom we interact with. There are means and manner and way in which people use merely one another as a stepping stone. We may want to come to a point in our lives that we do a thing because it's in our heart to do so. But yet if the heart is not right, if the heart has malice, envy, hatred, and jealousy, animosity, it's a lot of turmoil going on. The anxiety is the result of stress. So maybe the model in which people are and the position that they are taking is trying to resist the stress, but yet they are under so much stress that they are under duress and not able to make the best decisions. I don't know if that has become popular or not. Maybe evidence shows that it has. That which is popular. And then we deal with principles now. What goes up, maybe it comes down. Maybe the laws, the principles don't change. Principles. It says that policy is driven by interest. As a group that says they have no permanent friends, no permanent interests, no permanent friends, no permanent enemies, just permanent interests. You enter into a form of rest. Maybe that's a sign of, could be a sign of loss of one's ambition. One's ambitions, one's drive, one's motivation, one's determination to bring to for the development of one's intellect, for the betterment of humanity, for a civil society. Remember I said coming to complete civility. Civility is to be civil. Civil represents citizens, so then therefore we are universal people. We're living in a universe. Maybe there's a form of diasporan, because we are all diverse. We're all diverse people. If you look at the structure of each and every one of us, each DNA is different. That's a lot of diversity, variety of life. Yes. So when we deal with the variety of life, for me, you have to deal with approaching things universally. And that deals with one's tolerance. And you only could take but so much. Everybody has an expiration date. The mind, the body can only take but so much. You can only take but so much of what somebody is doing to you, what somebody is sharing with you. You only could take but so much. But yet, there's much to give with such little time. And time cannot be chronologized, because that which is eternal is consciousness. We're all born with the same faculties, same consciousness. The difference is the manner and way in which we use it, and that which differs from us is climatic. Because someone says once you throw off the ecology of the environment, one's intellectual aptitude for learning becomes difficult. But yes, someone says, it's written in the religious text, out of difficulty comes ease. Then we deal with a disease, a dis-ease. The model may have become, hopefully it's not has, that the sickness negotiates with the illness, that which is going on in our minds, or in how we process things, that which is going or has happened to the brain prior to the brain becoming fully developed through the injection or the consumption of drugs or even some traumatic experience. Then we become re-traumatized again. And we deal with institutions now. Institutions, that's our place of learning. We know this, the best body of knowledge is creation, is the learning grounds. And you got college institutions, you got family. Some say now it's called homeschooling. If you look at the word kindergarten, it really means a kinder garden. Be kind in the garden. It's all elementary. Elementary has to do with the elements that brings us together. As you see plants, you see all existence, life is a living organism. Come in and finds its way out. But we have to be careful that we don't allow the institutions that we go to numb the pain. And we'll become addicted to that. And to a point we try to escape this reality and try to escape either the reality of others by not being of assistance to them in the best and healthy ways. My take on a religious text that they said when a brother was feeding the people some bread and some fish, that he set them up in divisions. That would illustrate to me that the purpose of the military is to feed the people. It's not to go out to make war, to kill one another, but to feed the people. And that which is to be fed must be distributed out fairly. So now we can deal with a concern about the distribution system. So certainly, as a brother said, there must be a radical revolutionary of values. For me, there's 4 behaviors, values, virtues, and views. It's 4 things we face every day: problems, questions, issues, and needs. And I proceed on now as we deal with the trends of that which is popular. We deal with that which it's the principles and something that which one should be able to stand on, and just deal with the institutions. And now we deal with the culture. Someone says that culture is dynamic, it always changes. You got to take a very serious look at culture when it becomes destructive. Some say culture is the totality of a people's thought and practice. Culture, for me, comes from the word associated with the word agriculture. And how one is able to relate and identify with the land. Native Americans would know that the land should not be bought and sold. It should be designed to benefit the people. This whole universe to me is a utility. You get light from the sun and energy from the water and currency. Which is current. I'll proceed on because I realize that culture is also designed to help us find our bearings. Culture is necessary, but it's not sufficient. You can wear all the garment all day long. Yeah. But there's something going on the inside that is not being addressed. And in this society, they give you an address, they give you a place of residence. Because I realize that the past is just a reference point. It's not a place of residence. Because if you dwell on something long enough, it will imprison you. And we created a world that some say that they are free at the expense of putting others in prison, or the imprisonment of others. We created in a world. A world has been created, not me, but we. Not me, and not we, but if something has created a world where that their heaven is contingent upon somebody else's hell. What position, what motto is it for the people to follow? So if there's an issue, the issue is you because it's character resolved. Now we're dealing with customs now that which people have become accustomed to. Whatever it may be. And in certain, or this country, customs is how things come in. Gotta go through custom. So if anything that is coming in to hurt, harm, and endanger anyone, you know what you have to, who you look at. Oh man. Then when you come to customs, and then you can see what type of leadership. That is being displayed. And it says, and not to be, don't know what word to use when it comes to a disease that cannot be cured, is greed. Greed for money, greed for power, for attention. Maybe some want the wrong type of attention. They need doctor attention. You can't hide behind our titles or your success. I just say our titles. Your success. Because anything that is hidden is always being revealed. And I say this in closing. There's a saying that he or she who has the goal makes the rules. Dross coming off. impurities of the gold. The manner and way in which the diamond is cut reflects the increase of its value. But he or she who measures the worth of gold is ruler of him or herself. Shine in your brilliance as humans, but we must get the dross or the impurities out for the betterment or the development of one's intellect, for the betterment of humanity. Egalitarian in thought.